Okay, everyone, welcome to the second episode of Just Ask Joe with the Real Money Masters. We do have Heloc Joe on, and we've got a plethora of amazing members that are part of the community. The reason we do these types of webinars or are starting to open it up is because there's only so many hours in a day. And I think it's important for the community to know each other and get friendly with each other as well, because you all have valuable experience and your experiences may overlap with similarities, but you're all individuals and there's something unique about each one of you guys and what you're doing and how you're operating. So any chance we can help each other is always a great opportunity. So as long as you guys are comfortable sharing whatever you want to share, we're not going to pester you too much, but there will be time for you guys to give a lot of feedback and help each other out here as well. First thing I wanted to show a sneak peek on is we are working on a welcome packet. Hopefully, it will be done here by the end of this week. I know that's tomorrow and Saturday. I'm really rushing to get it done. I just got all of the pages out, so I'm trying to put them into a physical booklet that we can hand out at in-person events, as well as a digital format that you can flip through and be able to click on the link. This booklet is designed to load you guys to your own personal vault where you can upload anything that needs to be uploaded. It has the highest level of security encryption possible. I had to go through different financial and accounting firms to determine what was a good software to utilize to keep everyone's information protected, but it's just going to be a quick way for us to keep track of everything and know that we have everything needed to get started for a customized game plan for your situation. So let me quickly share that. But Joe, if you want to talk, you're more than welcome.
Isn't she doing a great job, guys?
Uh, so I just sent it to myself on Messenger because I've been working on it on my phone. It was up till well after midnight. So this is kind of the first page of the welcome packet here. And the preceding pages are all going to be following this theme, right? This isn't just going to encompass IBC. It's going to encompass the trust structures, the HELOC, of course, family constitution. There's even pages in here specific for business owners and how they can protect and preserve the legacy that they're trying to build. So that's page one, sneak peek. That will be something that's freely available for anyone that chooses to work with Real Money Masters. Of course, we are still operating at no cost. This is really just to make sure you guys have a clear map of what to do, where to go, and what options are out there for you. As always, you don't have to wonder who you have to call with the Real Money Masters. You've got Joe's number, you've got my number, and then we have the rest of our team in between that are always here to help fill in the gaps. But let me go ahead and pull up presentation and let me stop sharing for just a moment here because I forgot. When I share, I need to make sure I'm sharing just the content only. Okay. All right. So anyone who was here before knows this little presentation that we have. I did not have a chance yet to go through and revise it since my Australia trip took up my April time. But I promise for the third one, there will be new slides presented and more information to go over. So that's why I was looking forward to getting the welcome packet out to everyone so they do have something new to check out. You go ahead and do you guys see any of the other stuff on my screen, or is it just the
Nope.
Just Ask Joe? Okay,
Yep. It's just good.
good. Let me go ahead and admit everyone. Admit. Okay, awesome. So remember, when we're starting these webinars, it's really important to have an idea in mind of why you're here. I don't want it to be a waste of time for you. I want you to gain something of value. And if you already think you know it, just be willing to hear it again, test your knowledge, and maybe test us. See if you can catch anyone in a slip up. So we're going to be focusing on all of the things that encompass our dollar. We're looking into if we have assets like businesses or real estate, if we're dealing with things like notes or private equity or loan agreements, whatever we have in place. We're just trying to find how we're going to position ourselves to climb that ladder and work towards getting into a different tax bracket, but try to keep it tax advantage so we can save ourselves a bigger arbitrage collection there. So that is part of our value strategy. The Real Money Masters value strategy encompasses velocity, arbitrage, leverage, utilization, and efficiency. And I believe we have Anthony to thank for coming up with that acronym because we were saying it a little bit out of order before in the order that it functions, but he did a really good job of making it a quick term.
Brianna, is the waiting room on auto or do you have to let people in?
I have to let people in.
Okay, there's people waiting.
Yes. Oh, our girl Cheryl. So you guys are out here just trying to protect the dollars that you work so hard to earn. And you're also trying to get more strategic as we all get older. We don't want to have to keep working harder, trading more time for money. We want to put our money to work in a place where it's not only protected and safe so it can continue to grow, but also where it's continuing to earn for us so that we don't have to trade time for money, but we can use money to make money. Um, a lot of people get trapped in this little trinity of wealth here because they always get focused on one point. They're usually trying to earn, oh, there's not enough money because minimum wage or whatever pay it is isn't enough to match the bills with the costs increasing due to the devaluation of the dollar. And that means they can't save. And that means they wouldn't be able to invest. And then some people are so focused on investing, they don't have any money liquid for a savings, if you will, that they can easily get to. So this is about finding that perfect harmony and balance. And of course, using the IBC method allows us to kind of turn the key in the lock to open up the doorway for us to be able to do more than one thing with our dollar. Now we have the wealth gap, and this is what we're really trying to close. Top 1% owns 32% of the US wealth. That is a big divide there, especially when you compare it to the bottom 50%. I know a lot of us are kind of healthy in the middle, right? We're in that middle class American percentage. That's fine. I broke from the bottom 50 and we're just trying to work our way up, but we're really trying to do it in the same manner that the elite do it. Not giving up our souls, right? Not trying to do dirty to anyone out there. We're actually trying to do it in a way that is practicing what we preach and putting others and their problems before ours, but ensuring that ours get handled along the way. So that's just showing a breakdown of our net worth, right? So net worth by class kind of changes quite a bit. And this is what we're trying to break. We're not only trying to help people that are already well off or doing okay, or kind of keeping their heads above water. We want to help anyone and everyone that's willing to be helped. Let's see. I don't know if those pop up for you guys and you can see them too.
What's that?
Oh, good. That means no. So we we are here to utilize debt the way it should be getting utilized, right? It's not for consumption, it's for leverage. Part of that value strategy. We want to be leveraging what we can and collecting the arbitrage between whatever cost to borrow we're creating or cost for the opportunity compared to what it's bringing us in the ROI from the work that it's yielding. And these statistics kind of scared me when I had first heard about them. People don't have a savings. People are, a lot of times you hear one paycheck away from poverty, from being out there on the streets. And that's really, these types of statistics are what we're trying to change for the general group of society that we have here. And it's only going to work for those that are willing to learn and implement, not just sit and absorb something from a webinar, but actually be willing to formulate a game plan with us, lean on us to be able to actually help you and give us the information as far as where are the dollars. We can't win the chess game if we don't have all the pieces on the board. Joe, do you have anything to add, or am I just going to continue going?
You're doing fantastic. I'll jump in.
All right. So 401ks, anyone who knows Bree knows that she does not care for 401ks. Anyone who knows Ted Betta, the creator of the 401k, knows he doesn't care for 401ks. So that right there is why Bree does not care for 401ks. Comparing them to the IBC side of things, you're going to often see that the IBC works really well. Now, if you have an employer that's offering you a match, that's free money. I can't say no to the free money regard of that. And I know there are some employers out there that require you to start one. So if you have one, it's really just about maximizing control. If it's a previous employer, we would want to talk about looking into making it a self-directed 401k, something that you can control where the dollars are going in a way that you know it's something more worthwhile than just a general stock or ETF, what have you.
I'll say a little bit on the 401k just
Yeah.
to add what you said. So when somebody says, "Why did you start that 401k?" Oh, because they match. They match that 401k. Well, that's great. So that means that the reason why you started that is for that free money that the employer is giving you. Then why are you putting it into small cap and large cap and international funds? Those are going to go up and down. If you want to keep that money and not lose any, well, now you should probably play on the other side of that fence and being stable funds or, bonds and slow burning that will always make money and very rarely go down. Because if you go on the other side of the fence, that's the rabbit, and you could lose a lot more. If the only reason for that 401k is to preserve that free money, then you have to do it the right way and not take a chance, but to do the stable funds and have that grow because the turtle will always win over the long term of that. And that is a way to preserve your wealth.
Well said. And then I guess Megan or Brenda, either of you guys, I see that you're on. If you want to be tracking the chat and if there's questions that are coming up at points in this webinar that you feel are pertinent to the page that we're on or anything like that, feel free to let us know that there's a question. We might be able to answer it. So, middle class, a lot of people consider their home an asset, right? But we know what the meaning of asset and liability really are. If you're paying taxes, if you're dealing with maintenance, if you have insurance and you're still paying a mortgage, that's a liability. It's costing you money. You can't really consider it an asset unless it's helping you maintain that net worth and paying you. So this is where the wealthy really utilize the debt to create those opportunities for them to have appreciation and ROI. So real estate is really big with the group. I know about that. And we kind of already do that one, right? This is the financial literacy is not going to come to us if we're not willing to talk about money and have those conversations. Don't be afraid you don't have to go out there and spill every little bit, but you can't be afraid of discussing money. I always believe that money needs to be treated like oxygen. It's going to come, it's going to go, but you can't be scared of taking the next breath. Try and do it. Let me know how far you get. And if I see anyone keel over, we know that they didn't make it for very long. That's why we want to treat money like oxygen. Keep breathing, it will keep coming and flowing. And you have to have that level of confidence in yourself that it's going to work out because you know that you're doing the steps that it takes for success. You're staying focused. You're continuing to expand your skill set, your knowledge, your network, and you're doing the things that are the right moves to make sure your dollars go a lot longer and last a lot farther. So these are the banking pillars of Joe's. We have pay yourself first, right? We do that by using our policy and our HELOC. You need to be in control. Money not in motion does not make money, and only spend interest, not principal. Doing these four components with your dollars is going to have your bank account growing. It's going to give you more confidence in the decisions that you're making, and it's going to give you that discernment that you need to make sure that you're not getting wool pulled over your eyes or falling into traps or bad opportunities. So, just a quick example there. We have the pay yourself first. That's our IBC, right? That's the policy. Being in control happens with the HELOC, but also with the policy as well. Um, Keeping the money's velocity is how we keep, making the money in motion. So don't be afraid to keep putting it into opportunities. Keep finding that right opportunity, especially now with what's happening. I know that a lot of people are feeling the pinch on their wallets and pocketbooks. So we need to just go in with a higher level of discernment and awareness before we go into opportunities. Don't get blinded by the big numbers of returns and just head for the light, per se. Make sure that you're still being diligent and following your pillars and your rules for being a responsible banker. And then you only want to spend that interest. That's how you achieve the financial independence. You could be having the money, making money all the time, but if you're spending everything in your capital, you're not going to be able to give yourself very many opportunities to keep growing the money. But by spending only the interest, it's going to teach you how to live within your means and also how to shift your focus from, oh, do I have enough in my wallet to go ahead and buy that? I could do it. And turn it into, how much do I need to invest so the opportunity buys that for me?
Mhm.
And then we have HELOC versus mortgage. So, Joe, do you want to start taking over into the HELOC versus mortgage? There's no one more seasoned than you.
Well, we can start off with a HELOC is simple interest and a mortgage is amortized. What does that mean? Amortized is a devil's arithmetic on a closed end loan that puts the bank in control and makes almost two times to three times more than what the principal is that you're paying. With simple interest, it breaks down as to what is the amount owed at that interest rate, and that is calculated on the average daily balance of that month. So you're only paying for what you're using for that month. So that would be the big part of the difference between the mortgage and the HELOC. With a HELOC, you're able to use the equity stuck in your two by fours. What's the difference between the money in your pocket and the money stuck in equity, stuck in your two by fours? You don't have access to it. So by getting a HELOC, you're opening that up and you're able to use it. So the timeline, usually when you have a mortgage, you're going to get either a 15 or a 30-year fixed. With a HELOC, depending on your cash flow, that would be the money coming in, the money going out, and the money staying in. If somebody's making $10,000 a month and spending 5,000, that's $5,000 that's actually staying inside that HELOC in that month. You do that for 12 months, you just paid $60,000 on the principal of your mortgage. You do that for 5 years on a $300,000 mortgage, you have a free house. It's all paid for. And you can still utilize that money over and over and over because it's a revolving line of credit. You would be the one in control with the HELOC. The bank would be the one in control with the mortgage.
Absolutely. And I know there might be some people that just acquired their HELOCs recently or have been running them for a while. I just want to say congratulations, and I hope it's going really well for you. I, I know last time we talked, I had been trying to get my mom on board, 2 years of working her, and Joe and I finally broke down the barriers, and she has her HELOC. And guess what? She's getting to go on her trip. And her credit score shot up like 70, 80 points in the last month and a half. So really cool stuff happens when you get responsible and expand your thinking. So this was kind of where Joe was talking on the change that happens, right? The simple interest versus the amortized, and then we're able to flatten out the timeline of paying it off. because the simple interest might start off kind of high depending on what our balance is for the line of credit for what we owe and are being utilized. But by having that one pot system practice in place and being responsible and diligent with it, we're going to really shave off the timeline for how long it takes us to have the home paid off. And that's where the previous slide mentioned 5 to 7 years is the average length of time to pay off a HELOC. So decrease in the principal, lower monthly interest payment. You still have access to the funds if you need them. That's how we get over that mindset of thinking. A lot of times I've heard about people who they get the HELOC, but they're still not quite doing the one pot system because they're still chunking money over here for this purchase or chunking money over here for savings. Not with your one pot. It really is helping you more by putting it all together right into the HELOC. And when you need it, it's still available. The beauty of the HELOC is there is the high immediate liquidity. That's actually one of the pages that will be in the updated welcome packet, talking about the different timelines of liquidity and access for the different options, including IBC, HELOC, and the like. So as we kind of discussed briefly on earlier slide, assets are putting money into your pocket, they're protected and they have value, but the liabilities are costing you money and it's someone else's asset that they're benefiting from, like your mortgage note being to the bank. And I know a lot of us have done active. And even when we're earning passive income, we're still being active. We part of being a business owner is, I don't know about you guys, but I love being able to put out fires. I love finding a new problem that I get to solve and try to create a system or a process that alleviates that pain point in the future and presents the fires later on. I mean, it's like a constant ongoing shifting puzzle being a business owner and creating more passive income and cash flow. But it definitely, I think, is still a bit active. Even if there's passive money coming down the other side, it still feels really active. But once you've created your perfect system that can run on its own, that I'm sure that's when we're all going to go to the next opportunity and find the next thing to get active in and the next thing that we're going to build up. And putting someone into the group here. Okay. So we have just, this is kind of a comparison on the costs, right? This is really trying to show you guys that when you are borrowing from your policy, you're still earning the dividends and interest, which is offsetting your cost to borrow. And also calculating it, combining it with the HELOC for what you're looking at for first year ROI or cost compared to down the road in 10 years. And you can see it's a big change that happens over time. It's like that compounding effect. Crazy, I know. And this is traditional banking versus IBC. We all know we're getting really good with the IBC side of things. That's why we're all here, right? We've all started to become very responsible and honest bankers. The IBC gives you more control. It's giving you more protection. It's giving you access to the money where you're still able to keep benefiting from the money compounding within the policy. It's a lot better than just a traditional bank account. Um, this is, of course, is for anyone that's newer. I know there's some people that have brought new potential people interested in learning about IBC into the mix. This isn't so much as just a recap for all you guys that I know we do calls with all the time that have multiple policies and are doing it. I know you've got it, but we need to help other people understand it because we see too many people. If you think about those around your life, your family, your friends, coworkers, there's so many people we know that are still stuck in the traditional mindset of thinking about banking and money. And we need to know how to bridge that gap in their understanding and help them actually learn IBC and not just learn about it, but understand that it's real. It's not some crazy juju imaginary thing that is sounds like a scam or too good to be true, that we can explain how it actually is true, the mechanics of it, the history behind it, and then of course our personal experiences using it. And this happens because of why? we have a basic policy, and that's what a lot of people are thinking when you tell them that you're using life insurance for banking. They think about just a basic policy, and that's not the way these function. These have that paid up additions, and we utilize the paid up addition rider as part of the premium to allow that annual or monthly amount that we're putting in to have a large portion going to the cash value where we can leverage it as collateral for a loan. And that allows us to utilize the money while it keeps working for us. And we're focused on the arbitrage, the spread between our cost to borrow and what we're earning by what we're doing with the money. And Joe, another one for you.
My gas station. All right. So obviously, if you were on a call with me, I'm sure I gave you this little activity to do with me. So I'll do it right now, and Bree will be my person on the phone, if you will. So I say, you and I are on a road trip, and we both need gas. So we pull into the gas station. You pull to the left side of the pump, I pull to the right side of the pump. You pump in $100 of gas, I pump in $100 of gas. We both go in to pay. So, Bree, you take a $100 bill out of your pocket and you hand it to the cashier. How much of your money did you just hand the cashier?
$100.
That's right. I take a $100 bill out of my pocket and I hand it to the cashier. How much of my money did I just hand the cashier?
$100.
Nope,
What?
zero.
No.
Why? Because I took $100 and I deposited it in my policy. That money will make me dividends until I stop breathing. I then borrow that 100 from the general fund of the insurance company. I take that 100 and I put it into an asset. I buy real estate. I lend it out. Whatever be that asset, I'm getting cash flow. I'm making interest on that money. That interest comes back into my pocket. That is what I handed the cashier. My $100 capital, my principal, is not only working in my policy, paying me until I die, it's also working in the opportunity in two places. And you took your 100 principal out of your pocket, handed it to the cashier, never to see it again, while mine still is paying me, and I have a legacy, and my beneficiary will still be getting money.
That's amazing. That's usually where people are picking their jaw up off the floor or doing the but trying to find the workaround, but it works. All right, so now we've kind of gotten to the portion where we can do some questions, or if anyone here is seasoned, I see very familiar faces and names. You know, I know you know, I know. Feel free to go ahead and chime in and give your experience or feedback on what it was like for you, how long you've been doing it, what the problem was that you were trying to solve, which parts you started with first or saw the biggest value in for your situation. We're just trying to help give people real world examples to let them know that this isn't fake. This works for a lot of people, and it's the ones that know how to work it.
Or if anybody has questions that they want to throw at me or do a
Yeah.
strategy session right now, I mean, we could do that live. Whatever, however you guys want to take this is your floor.
Yep. Testimonials and questions time. I do see some stuff in the chat. Let me pull that up here.
All right,
Someone asked where I am in Alaska. So they moved from Rick. You were in Palmer? I'm in Chugiak. I couldn't imagine
Uh,
living in Palmer. It's so windy out there. That's
that's
crazy.
cool. I wish I would have known you while I was up there. That would have been
Yeah.
cool.
Well, I'm happy to go somewhere warm too. You know, you let me know what part of Texas, we'll set something up.
All the parts of Texas are warm.
I've been freezing since I got back. The snow hasn't even melted. The trees are still brown. It's dreary and depressing. But Australia, very green, very warm, very nice.
All
Um,
right. Boyd has a question. Go ahead, Boyd. It's your floor. What do you got?
yep.
All right. So with one of my policies,
Hmm.
uh, let's just say the 15th is when it was due or other such things.
Okay.
Sent in my funds to be able to pay that premium. Evidently, it went in or got to the company either a week or a few days early, so they dumped it into their premium deposit fund.
Hmm.
So I get a 1099 int back and other such things. And there's this little squirrel of money that's sitting in that premium deposit fund.
Yep.
And I'm just trying to figure out of going, okay, on the next anniversary on the arbitrary 15th, how can I null that to zero? So I don't continue to just have this while it's earning interest, it's completely out of my control and is just kind of sitting there nagging me and just trying to figure out going, what's the process to help the insurance company zero out that premium deposit fund?
So I'm pretty sure you're talking about Lafayette, correct?
Yes.
So we can call up Lafayette and say, will you please take that and add it to the loan balance, please? And we can clear and zero up that little account for you.
And can that be done any point in time in the year
Yep.
or?
Yep. You just call them up and say, I have, I think I had something like, I don't know, $2.26 in mine. They actually sent me a 1099. I think it was for 42 cents. I think they cost more for the stamp. So,
Yeah, I think I have like $30 sitting in
yeah,
mine currently, and I'm just like knowing that it'll be there. But I guess that also kind of leads into like the part two of the question of let's say my premium's due on the 15th. How much flex or leeway do different companies have for paying that premium?
the
Like if I
Lafayette,
did it on the 23rd or 30th, or like, do I have a 30-day window or does it need to be there the 14th or before to make them happy?
I usually do it about 3 to 4 days prior to the anniversary for Lafayette. Now, Mass Mutual, I go in about two weeks, a week and a half to 2 weeks prior, because that money definitely has to be in. Lafayette is the only one that has this little special savings account. One America doesn't have that, and neither does Mass Mutual. So it's just with Lafayette because we had a client call us and say, "Oh, I put it in a month ahead, and they still haven't moved it yet." And I says, "No, it's going to be stuck there for until your anniversary until they pull it out." So yeah, we'll be able to call them up and see if we can move that over to the loan repayment and clear that up for you.
We do
Okay.
have a familiar face and a little bit of a VIP, if I'll say.
Yeah,
Sandra
I
Fry
see.
wanted to bring up,
Yes.
find out from Lafayette if you have room to add the PUA and move it from the PDF to the PUA. The PDF, the Premium Deposit Fund, is a really great space to ensure that your dollars are at least with the company and you're not out there spending it or losing it. Um, but Sandy, thank you so much. She used to be one of the heads of the application division. She's pretty fantastic. Um,
Yeah.
We love
Yeah.
Sandy.
yeah.
Yeah, we've had some email exchanges and other such things because I'm, yeah, I get to do the whole wait and see for trying to see if they'll change my rating and other such things
hmm
in the next go around. But yeah, it's been an interesting ride so far. So
Yeah. Every time you acquire a policy, especially with a new carrier or something, there's always a little bit of a learning curve. There are some differences between the carriers, and then there's a few different variations of these policies. That's where I'm like, never stop learning, guys. Really, you think you know it all, and then there's something like a premium deposit fund. What the heck is this that pops up and makes you question everything?
yeah, getting that 1099 out of the blue, I'm just like, I wasn't expecting this. And then figuring out, oh, that's where it came from. Huzzah for edge cases. So
And Sandy did bring up a really good point here. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Don't submit your premiums more than 30 days in advance because they'll either put it automatically towards that premium deposit fund or on your policy loans. So if you were planning on this needs to go to premium, Make sure you time it out so it doesn't go into the wrong spot and require you to shift some more stuff around. Good call. Thank you, Sandy. That was
especially if
probably what I
you're
did with James's policy.
especially if you're using a Heloc. Why are we taking money out of our Heloc 30 days before the policy is due? That's more interest that we're going to have to pay for the Heloc. So we'll pull it out, 3, 4 days before the policy is due. And now we're running on real time and being efficient and utilizing our dollars correctly.
And then
So
Charles had a question. Brenda did a pretty good job of answering it. But Charles was asking, can you talk in more detail about if you ever pay your loans back or you always roll them?
what does it mean by roll them?
Like
Not pay
you.
them?
Yep.
Okay. So I guess this is a two-parter, Charles. So if we have a Heloc or if we have no Heloc, if we're utilizing the policy as just the policy and our revolving line of credit and our bank, then yes. When the money comes in, you would want to pay the premium if it's annual or monthly, and then any extra, yes, we would want to warehouse our capital inside of the policy. You shouldn't have a savings account. That money should be utilized and be put back into the policy. Now, if we have a Heloc, it's the same but a little bit differently. Because when we have a Heloc and an IBC policy, it's not one or the other. The way that I utilize mine is they act in unison. So my Heloc and my policy are one. All of my money that comes into the house comes into the Heloc. When it's time annually to pay my deposit, I take the money out of the Heloc, run it through the policy, and 2 weeks later, or as soon as it hits the cash value, I will hit the max fund button and that money will come right back out and come into the Heloc. I then, you already know that one pot system is my Heloc. That's my checking account, my savings account, and my investment account. So as that Heloc grows and I get to 50,000, 100,000, whatever be that number for that next investment, I will deploy it from the Heloc, throw it into the investment, and then that cash flow will be increased. Now that money comes right back into the Heloc. As long as you're in build mode, as long as you're in wealth building mode and still investing and still want to make money, that money will come into the Heloc and get deployed, come into the Heloc and get deployed. When you achieve your goal, okay, I have $1 million out now working for me, or I have 2 million or 5 million, or okay, I'm making $10,000 a month, I'm making 50,000 a month, or making 100,000 a month, whatever be your goal. Then at that point in time, you would start filling up your Heloc. After that Heloc gets filled up, then you would start filling up your policy. Why do we fill up the Heloc before the policy? With the Heloc, it's math. It's a straight 7% that's going out every month. It's a constant. With the policy, yes, in year 1, year 2, year 3, even, or maybe even year 4, when does that policy become cash on cash, become efficient? After that time, that policy will be working for you. When you get to year 11, most of my policies are 200, 300, 400% cash on cash if we did a dump in and ran that policy, my signature policy. So therefore, you're always making money inside of that policy because of the dividends, and it's more efficient in order to run that money back into the Heloc because of that interest. You're paying that straight 7, and inside the policy, it might only be 1. It might only be 2. Why am I going to fill something up to save me at 2% when I can fill something up to fill it at 7%? It's just math, and the math has to math. Did I answer that enough?
Well, it was a lot of words. I think you did good. There's so many ways to use these policies, guys. When Nelson
Yeah.
Nash coined the term infinite banking concept, he really meant infinite. Um, there's a lot of ways to create them, a lot of ways to use them. I know my first one, I was destitute, paycheck to paycheck and in debt. I didn't have a home. I lived in a trailer court. So I was velocity banking with the policy. I prioritized those loan repayments, and it meant just for the sole purpose of having the money available to borrow against again. And I was taking loans right back. I mean, every month, borrowing, repaying, borrowing, repaying. And when I did it that way with the velocity, I noticed the interest rate that I was paying was closer to 1 to 3%, versus the annual rate that I was expected to do. So, but now that I have a HELOC and a home, it's transitioned, like Joe said, to what makes the most fiscal sense on paper. And that means for me, it's keeping the money out and in my HELOC where it's benefiting all the other transactions happening in my day to day.
Bree, the first 2 years that you were doing your HELOC, or your policy, explain to them how you were recapturing and repaying it and what that did to the interest. Because not everybody here has a HELOC. They might just have a policy, and we want them to utilize and be efficient with those dollars.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I was touching on. I prioritized velocity banking with the policy. I knew that if the dollars I was spending went to my policy first, I would see them in the policy. Just because they touched it one time, even if I borrow them right back out and go buy the thing or pay the bill, I could see the dollars in the policy still earning for me. So I understood very quickly that I wanted all of the money I'm planning on spending or putting out there to go into my policy first. So it's not actually leaving me. I mean, if you want to just throw money out the window in fiscals, knock yourself out. But if you want to preserve your money and keep it working for you, that's then you want it to go through your policy. Um, so that I used it for expenses, for bills, for everything. But I didn't have a big policy. Joe didn't make my first one. It was designed very efficiently with a completely different company, and it was only a couple $100 a month. It wasn't even the maximum amount that I could contribute for my minuscule income that I had at the time. It was just so little. What are you going to do? 250 doesn't afford all your bills. I could only take out 214 out of the 250 the first time that I put funds in. So it was like 214. What am I going to do with that? Let's pay the smallest bill that we've got. And I paid the smallest credit card bill. But then I knew I had another credit card I wanted to pay off. So I prioritized paying that whole loan back and then making my second month's premium payment. Now I had twice the amount that I could take out, pay the next bill. And by doing that, I was only paying 1% interest on that specific loan by paying it back like that. And I only did it because I knew I had the intention of borrowing it again. So velocity banking, we have some diagrams on the realmoneymasters.com site that kind of guide that as well. I hope everyone caught that. I had another question that came up here, and it was, so I'm expecting a few thousand, a few Ks. How can I turn this into capital quickly for investing in income property? And we did give a few responses. Brenda gave a good response. You'd want to get the policy first. Any money you get, you'd want to make a habit of paying yourself first so that it compounds forever. Look at her. She's on it. She's amazing. That's exactly it. Uh, and then from there, you'd borrow from your policy to put into your investment property, and your investment is now making you money, now paying you, hence your money making money. And we clarified what kind of policy. Well, what is the IBC policy? It's a high early cash value, dividend paying, whole life policy with a mutually owned insurance company. We don't play with IULs here. No. Whole life. It's going to last the duration of your life. It's designed where the death benefit starts out really great and grows in time. The only time it typically drops off is if there is a term rider that was needed to support the overfunding that we're doing by shoving more money in there. It's only for the first 7 years, then the term drops off. So the death benefit might take a little bit of a kick down, but because it's a compounding policy, it starts growing right after that. And the important thing is even when that term rider drops off, your cash value does not go down. It always goes up, especially if you are sticking to borrowing against the cash value. We don't withdraw. What happens if you withdraw all the money from your cash value all the time? Well, eventually you're going to be you're going to be withdrawing interest, right? And we're going to be withdrawing dividends that have been earning within the policy. Now you've created a taxable income. We don't play that game. Loans aren't taxed, we borrow.
Always borrow.
Yes. And then Kat Banish had a really good question here.
She said that
Oh,
she had to put the baby down. She'll let us know when she gets back.
good, good. Okay. Jason, you raised your hand. Do you want to chime in?
Yes, I have a question. I personally have been practicing this since December of 25. I started by just scouring YouTube and I ran upon Christy Van and started Velocity Banking. I had not a HELOC, but I had a line of credit and I was using it with that. She did an episode with Chris that led to another thing. So I ended up getting a policy. My writer was Carson, and my implementation specialist is Richard. Uh, Actually, I just made an anniversary with that policy in April of last month. And then I got a HELOC in June, and I've been utilizing it with, um, uh, getting different things to create passive income, and I've been doing that since October of last year. But my question is, my catalyst for even doing this was mainly for my father. He's in his 70s. He still works. He has no retirement. He feels like he wants to work till he dies, but we all know that that's not possible. He owns his own home. He owns it outright, and I would say if I had to guess, that house would probably be worth between 280 and 325 right now. My question is, do you guys think that it would be possible for him to get a HELOC? And if so, um, could I help him to understand utilizing the funding that's in that house, which is a liability right now, um, to create passive income so when he is not able to work anymore, he could live off of that?
So if he's living off the HELOC, I mean, that's going to be a monthly bill. I mean, to do that. What I kind of would suggest is I don't believe that there's an age on a HELOC. It has to do with income. So if he's still working, then 45% of that income would still be able to be utilized for the percentage of that line of credit that he would get. So if it's a $300,000 house at 80%, it would probably be around a 240 line at max. So therefore, if he's making X amount per year and can satisfy that, is there any other bad debt? Does he have any credit cards or any car loans, or is there a mortgage on the house?
No, he owns the house. He owns his home outright.
Okay.
And he bought my mother 6 months ago a new car. He paid for that outright, and it really made me think about your story, Joe, about paying for the car and losing all of those dollars. But
Yeah,
anyway,
I'm still paying on that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So he doesn't have any debt, just I would like to see if there was a way to maybe create passive income with his HELOC because he makes a good income. He makes a six-figure income being self-employed but what he does is not sit behind a desk. He drives a semi truck and handles chains on a flatbed. So that's not something that he's going to be able to sustain for, the foreseeable future.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm trying to convince him to understand and see if there's a way that if you could get a HELOC,
Yep.
turn some of that money into some passive income and create something coming in.
So
I
how
guess
about
I need to set up a call with you guys, with him, and
yeah, we could always set up a call for a strategy call and run through the numbers, and I'll pre-qualify him. But I mean, if he's making a six-figure income and he has no debt, there should be no reason why he can't get 80% or even 85% of that house value. So,
yeah,
like I said, 240, 250,000. Now, what are we going to do with that? What investment can we be passive on? So, I'm absolutely looking into note buying right now.
hmm,
And, if that note is at 10% and he puts 100,000 or $200,000 to a 10% note, he'll be looking at approximately $20,000 a year with cash flow coming in with, and that money that's coming in is amortized. So that's even better. I teach you guys how to make money with doing simple interest things, but what do? We make money when we charge somebody the other way.
that's correct. That's
So
correct.
yeah, so notes would be a great thing to do that. You'd be a first position lien holder on it. It's safe, it's tried, it's true, it's for the long haul. Usually notes are, 10 years, 15 years in length, so it's tried and true. And guess what? If something happens, if somebody doesn't pay you and it's just a land note, what happens? There's nobody to kick out. There's no carpet to fix, nothing to paint. What do? We put it back on the market. We bought it for 100. We sell it again for 110 because what? The value of land never goes down. It only increases, doesn't it? So all
Right.
that money that you got is yours, and we start the clock over again.
Well, I guess I mainly need to get him on a call due to the because all he knows is he owns the home and I don't have a note. And now you're asking me to create a note on a home that I own. So what I'll do is I'll schedule a call with him
Sure.
and you and let your expertise go to work because it works for me and I've shown him, but I'm like I said, I'm just making a year doing this and I don't have enough on the books for him to be convinced. So
The first thing for the mindset for him is you have to ask him, what is the difference between the money in your pocket and the money stuck in your two by four?
mm,
You don't have access to the money in the two by four.
that's
How do
right.
we get access to that, Dad? Let's get a Heloc. They take 250,000, then they throw it into an account, and you don't pay on it if you don't use it, but it's there in case you want it.
Yeah,
See what I mean? You have to have access to it, or you can't use it at all. So that's the first step, getting access to it, getting the Heloc and having the bank throw the 250,000 into a bank account for him to actually see that he can use it. And then we have to explain to him, well, if we're borrowing it at 7% and we're putting into something that makes us 10%, 15 amortized, now we're doubling our money. So when that money comes in, we pay the 7%. And what do we do with the other 7 or 8%, Dad? That's the profit. We're using that money to make money. And that's what we have to kind of open up his mind to. It's the mindset.
that's right. Thank you so much.
You're
I'll
welcome.
See. Oh, Boyd, did you have another question? I see you and Rick are doing good answering each other in it, but if you wanted to talk
Well,
now, you can.
yeah, mine's kind of another situation. So currently I pay for my policies yearly, but I save for them monthly. And currently I have a HELOC, so I just save for them in the HELOC because
Hmm.
my HELOC control cost is higher than my policy loan cost. So therefore, it makes sense to store those funds that are earmarked for my policy inside of my lease line of credit. I was just trying to think of if I didn't have my HELOC,
Hmm.
I wouldn't want to store those funds just sitting in a generic banking account doing nothing for me.
Correct.
So I would then think that I'd just put those monthly payments into my lease cash value, like repay my loan early to
Yep.
have those funds sitting in the policy. When my premium comes due, what are the insurance company's view on being able to pay that premium directly from my available cash value? Or would I have to retake a loan to then be able to pay that premium to make the insurance company happy? Because I'm saving, we'll just say $1,000 a month
Yep,
just for nice numbers. Right now, that's being saved inside of my Heloc, and then I just pay the 12 grand
true,
at the time of whatnot.
right?
And if I didn't have the line of credit, then I'd just be putting $1,000 a month back into my policy loan.
Yep.
Then I'd have the 12,000 sitting inside of that cash value come due date. But I don't know, would they let me just say, hey, take it from my cash value, or would I have to go and say, give me a 12K loan a few weeks ahead of time so it was processed so I could give it back to them through the front door?
I would say get the loan on that, have it hit your checking account, and then 3 days before it's due, push the little button and say pay the loan. That's what
Yeah.
I would say in that case. Right on.
Yeah. It's nice having the line of credit now. I'm just trying to think of those times when I might not have the line of credit and how does that change my system? So,
You'll see that what Rick told us exactly what that is. 200K amortized note at 10% for 15 years, pays $25,800 a year, 2150 a month.
And then Brent asked, "Hey Dad, what makes 2150 a month by getting a HELOC and getting a note, money from nothing? Maybe more like 1500 a month after HELOC interest."
yeah, because you always got to pay for your cost of money.
That's right. It's the cost of money going up, but you're still making velocity. You're still making the arbitrage on it. No more questions?
You did it too late at night, Joe. Everyone's tired.
I wanted to make sure that the people on the other side of the world, that's 3 hours behind me, still was able to do it too.
I do. It looks like we've got a question from Amados, microphone issues. So the question's being written. We are looking to purchase a fourplex or more. The loan plus 401k in cash gives us 200 to invest. I have three questions. Do you have meetings specifically for purchasing properties? I would like to listen and learn. Two, to pre-qualify, should we take the loan out and place it in an account first to show we have on hand? And three, what are your thoughts about purchasing property with this type of loan?
What kind of loan was it, did he say?
Uh, the loan plus 401k. That's all it said. What kind of loan?
I think it might be
Like a
a
land.
VA. It could be a VA loan because I talked to Lisa, but he didn't say which one it was.
I was going to say Lisa did call me right before we started this about an hour ago, but didn't say. I knew she was looking at purchasing the fourplex. She brought that up, but we don't know what kind of loan you guys are looking at.
So if you have
Oh,
200,000 when
two policies we can use. We do not know what type of loan we will utilize.
so are we gonna have enough of money to have 11% down? She was talking about a $600,000 dwelling. So I mean, if you have the 30%, you're going to need 30% because it's a second house or a rental property. So that would be 30% down that you would need. So for a HELOC, um, I was telling her that I kind of work backwards when I do this. So if it's a fourplex and we're going to be renting out three of the four, how much is that interest? How much rental are we going to be making? We want to make sure that that unit is going to be self-sufficient. How much is the taxes? How much is the insurance? and how much is that loan that we're actually paying. So if those three dwellings, three units are compensating for that, then we can utilize the HELOC, we can utilize the VA loan, whichever one you want. Obviously, if you utilize the HELOC to get it, now we can utilize that money over and over again because it is the revolving line of credit. So, I mean, we could do a strategy call and we can kind of figure out which one works better with the math. And then to pre-qualify, let's see.
Um,
So when you go to the bank for a loan, if you have that money in cash value, that's going to be line two on your asset form. Line one's going to be cash on hand. Line two is going to be cash value in the policy. So therefore, if you're going to take a loan out and put it into a bank account, you can utilize it that way, or you can say that you do have that in cash value. Um, you're going to say something, Brie?
no, keep going. You're okay.
What are your thoughts about purchasing the property with this type of loan? Yeah, because he never told us what it was, but I think it was the VA.
But they said they don't know for sure.
Right, right.
Oh, hello, Joe.
Hi, hey, Elise.
Hi, this is Lisa. I'm Mama Dosa's wife. Okay, so the situation is like this. I'm not allowed to look at any homes unless we have a pre-approval. So I'm going with the bank. Uh, I think I'm thinking the old way. I went to a bank and we're currently working on a pre-approval in order to be released so we can view the properties. Until then, we have no idea as far as the financing and you know how much money each property is going to bring in. So we were trying to figure out, would it be smarter to deal with the VA home loan or work with the HELOC
So
and the
you
money
said
that we currently have?
so you said that there was no closing costs with the VA loan, as long as their rental is going to cover all of the capital needed on a monthly basis. Are we going to renovate this dwelling? Is it going to appreciate? I mean, are we going to do any work to it, or is it going to be the same price? When somebody buys a house like this, like say a flipper, and they intend on moving into it or refinancing it, you can buy the dwelling and then fix it up. So now the dwelling is going to appreciate and make more money. So now after 6 months, you can go in and get a HELOC. Now that bank will not utilize the purchase price. They'll utilize the new appraisal price because there's a 6 month um, seasoning for when you purchase a dwelling. So if you purchase it for 600,000 in 5 months, you would get a HELOC for 500,000, the appraisal value, and get 70% of that. If you went in and fixed it up or it appraised, or you're buying it for less than the actual purchase price of the house that it's valued at, after 6 months, then you could roll it into a HELOC, and now that 600 appraises at 800. Now you'd be able to get a larger HELOC.
Okay, I understand. As of the moment, from what I understand, is all of the units are preoccupied. So I hate to have to be the one to do this, but we're going to have to get rid of one of the people so that we can live in one of the units. As
Right.
far as any renovations are concerned, we have no idea because the tenants will not allow us into the units.
Well, I mean, you have options. You have options to do it one way with the HELOC. Jason can pre-qualify you to buy it as a rental or buy it as a second home. You can go the VA route, get pre-qualified that way, so that then there's no closing costs and less money down. So I mean, there's a couple ways that we can kind of combat it. So just depends on which one you want to do.
Okay, wonderful. I guess we can sit down and have a strategy call on that. because I'm currently in Florida right now, and my husband's back in Arizona, and we just want to make sure that we are handling this correctly um, before we move forward.
I gotcha. Makes sense. We're here to help.
Okay, thanks.
You're
Uh,
welcome.
Jill Miller has a question next.
Hey,
Yeah,
Jeff.
hi. Just a simple little question. Any thoughts or comments about First Savings Bank merger with First Merchant? I mean, it appears there's no changes or anything, but I thought maybe you knew more if there was anything about that there would be any concerns with or anything.
No, Jason said there was going to be nothing. They're
Okay.
still going to take over, and handle everything and still be the servicing agent and yada yada yada. So it was just a purchase because now that gives them more buying power.
Yeah.
And actually, there's other products that they're able to get into now. So
Oh,
hopefully,
awesome.
because of being a bigger bank, yeah. So they're talking about for just getting rental units instead of having to have one on your primary and then a rental, maybe just dipping into rentals.
Yeah.
And what do you call that? Portfolio loans. They're trying to do that too
Okay.
because of business people only showing 50,000 when the business is making 500. So they're doing, trying to get statement loans too. So trying to
Okay.
open up different options for us to be
Yeah.
able to do.
Yeah, because I'm in what, over 3 years already now. So yeah, okay, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see here. What's down after that? Is Rick the note guy? Well, of course he is. Wave, Rick. Oh, no, he's not. Let's see here. We have a season group on the call. Yes, the best. Sorry, we have two policies we could use.
Oh,
Perfect. This is
did you answer Kat's question yet? She's not on,
right.
but I want to be able to relay your answer to her.
She's not on yet. I thought I
She
saw.
she said she had to go. Um,
Oh,
so she'll be watching the replay.
okay. Um,
I could pull up the question right quick.
where
Putting
did
an
that go?
addition on our house. We haven't taken out
Yep.
a HELOC yet. We have money in our policies, and we are currently selling some underwater stocks to help cover the cost with a tax benefit. Best to use the stock money to purchase a new policy, then take the loan out, focus on the HELOC. Any guidance? And since the builders are going quick, feedback on opening a new policy, time consuming, versus purchasing an existing policy someone else is selling, where it's perhaps not as well engineered.
Always want to take the money, especially from the stocks, and run that through a policy. If there is no time, we could always take it from the left pocket and move it into the right pocket. So if you're going to spend the money and then get the HELOC, you're still going to be able to do the same effect. So if you sold $20,000 in stocks and put that into the dwelling, and then you got the HELOC for 50, and you took that 50 and you put it in for the dump, obviously you compensated for spending that 20 already, but you just spent it first. So as long as it still happens down the road, everything's going to pan out. Just as long as we can compensate for the money that we spent, that we're going to get into the HELOC, that we're going to run into the policy, because we always want to pay ourselves first and then put it into the asset. You're just doing it backwards, but you're still achieving the goal.
And then to kind of carry on to that, answering that additional question about the time consuming part of starting up a new policy. And would it just be more advantageous to buy an existing policy? Well, if it's not optimized, that sounds like almost a universal policy purchase or something. So for a life settlement, I would first look and see if anyone has an IBC policy that is efficient. But truly, the best thing you could do is try to get policies on yourself, because we're always fighting that clock of time for aging to the next bracket point where our contributions or premiums are dropping. Like Joe just passed one where now he's at only 15% is the percentage of his income that can run through a policy premium. So, we're always dealing with that. It's really good while you're at the age you are, take advantage of your good health and whatever funds you do have available and start building up your different arsenal of policies that you can for yourself. I know it is time consuming, but it's a lot better than waiting too long and then being like, okay, now I can get a policy on me, and you can't because you can only put X amount into it or don't have the health to back getting insured. So that is just my 2 cents. Um, where can you buy
Yeah,
other
I was just
people's
gonna,
policies? Oh, go ahead.
I, yeah, I was just gonna say it's like I know at least one of my policies, I'll say, felt like it went fairly fast to get it through the medical in place, other such things. My other policy went with another company. That one hit hiccups, and I think that policy ended up taking almost 9 months to get into place. The first one was only like month and a half, 2 months tops, and the second one was 6 months later, and it went a whole lot longer.
Oh
But
gosh.
um, with the selling of stocks to potentially go through a policy and using that in coordination with the Heloc to put an addition on the house, the other question I would ask is, do you have at least what's the plan for paying back the policy loan? Because you're not putting those funds back out to work.
Mhm.
So do you have like enough savings coming in or your intentional savings to pay back that policy loan so it's just not sitting out there forever sort of type thing of going, how does that cycle of money work when it's going into an expense versus something that's generating funds
That's a
is
really good
just the other thought.
consideration, Boyd. Thank you for that. That's a good call. Yeah. If you're not putting the money to work, you should have a plan on how you're taking care of that loan repayment. Um,
Oh, so here, let me touch a little bit on that, Boyd. So, what happens if you're in the middle of deals and you don't have a deal right now? By taking that money and filling up that HELOC, what are you doing? You're still making 7% per month, aren't you?
Yep.
You're waiting. You're waiting for that deal. You don't like this one. I'm not sure about this one. But guess what? As you fill up that HELOC, you're still making 7% per month because you're not spending that money. There is no arbitrage to make. And then after 5 months, that deal comes along and boom. Now we can utilize that HELOC, put it into the deal, collect our arbitrage, pay back the HELOC, and then we still have more money. But we're always putting in that HELOC, saving us 7% every time we leave money in there, right? So that would be the movement of money. You're still making it, even though it's not going out, just by accumulating it, you're still making 7%. So that was good, Boyd. Thank you. I wanted to bring that up. Um, where else are we? We're
I was answering a question through message. Anthony asked which First Savings Bank was the one being referred to. It's First Savings Bank is the name, and it's with Anthony Rushing, I believe. Yep. That Joe did, he spoke on stage at the Nashville event last year about the HELOC method. So I'll work on getting you the contact information for them.
yeah, first lien HELOC is the program, is the yeah, the program that they use. And First Savings Bank was just bought out by Merchants of Indiana or Illinois, Joe. Indiana, right?
He shared it. Okay. Yep. Yes, that is the one.
Merchants of Indiana. So now it's a bigger bank, and like I said, now they're trying to be able to do more products now too. So that's a good thing.
Um, and if for any reason you guys are looking or considering other banks, just know we do have a Rolodex list uh, of different banks, credit unions that offer first position, second position HELOCs, primary residences, secondary residences, or investment properties. And it tells us what the credit score is and what states these banks work with. Um, there's still a lot more than that, though. I mean, there really is a lot. We're trying to add to the list all the time. But yes, Anthony Rushing from First Savings Bank is the guy to talk to for a HELOC.
But if you call us up, I'll run through the numbers. We'll do a strategy call. I'll pre-qualify you. I'll actually go on the Zoom call with you and show you the magic calculator. We will run through the numbers that you're paying on the mortgage now. We'll run through the numbers with the HELOC and doing the debt consolidation. And I need to see the difference in interest per interest rate that each of them are doing. We'll do the comparison side by side. We'll see how much interest is getting paid out totally over the length of time, and you'll actually see the difference in time that you're actually paying because of the cash flow. So we'll figure out the cash flow coming in, we'll figure out the cash flow going out, we'll figure out what's going to be left every month inside the HELOC. If the maths, then it'll work. So we have to figure out how much it really is.
Awesome. And we do have a little cheat sheet for you guys too, especially if HELOCs are the way you're trying to go. Made by our lovely Brenda Ball. It is a HELOC bingo card. So you guys will know, okay, these are the questions that I need to ask. This is the pertinent information I need answered before I can choose a specific product. It's for when you're window shopping the product at different various banks and credit unions to find the right one that works for you. Because you're gonna hit it and you're gonna be like, oh, all of them are filled. Bingo. This is the one. We know to go with it. And then we can help you deal with the bankers on the phone too, because sometimes they don't get it.
I was just gonna say we have clients at the bank and they call us up and they're like, "Okay, I'm at the bank. I got you on speaker. Can you ask them some questions?" We want to make sure that you guys are getting the right product. We want to make sure that it's revolving. We want to make sure that it's simple interest. We want to make sure that they're not trying to change it for a HE loan that is amortized and not going to be a revolving line of credit because sometimes they'll do that. So just got to make sure that we, have everything in place and they're going to fulfill our needs. No, we're not going to fulfill the bank's needs. We need them to fulfill ours.
So even if it's a bank we don't know about and you guys say,
Yep.
I just walked into my local bank and they say they have HELOCs, that's fine. We'll be happy to help. Like, seriously, we don't work with any particular bank for a reason. We don't get referrals or anything like that from them. It's just trying to ensure you guys get into the right vehicle, that you're not going to be calling us up 5 months down the line saying everything's broken. So, but that's kind of all we've got. Any more questions or feedback
I
from anybody?
see. I see Brent was answering questions out there, so thank you, Brent, for helping us out there. Well, if there's no more questions, I guess we can.
Let them go to bed. That's okay. We're working on a lot of changes within the structure of the team and what we're trying to deliver for you guys. Of course, it's really not about the cost for us. It's trying to make sure the problems that we've heard, we've seen, and dealt with aren't happening in this community. And we're just trying to build something really strong that gets you guys what you need and be a like-minded community where you know that you can go and get the answers and the right information relevant for your situation, but not get ripped off. I'm tired of hearing people say, I spent money on this program or this mentorship or getting access to this, and I still have the same problems. I don't want that. So we're not trying to charge you. We're putting your results over profit. That's what matters to us is client results first. So if you guys have any ideas to help us move that and needle and make it a big, beautiful thing, please, by all means, feel free to reach out. Realmoneymasters.com is the quickest way to book a call. My phone number is right at the bottom. We're here for you guys. And I'm here a lot later than Joe. He's here a lot earlier than I am.
And our YouTube too. We're gonna start doing videos and putting stuff out on that. So if you guys subscribe to that, that would be cool.
Yep, at Heloc Joe in the YouTube search bar should take you right to the Real Money Masters YouTube page. Awesome. Thank you, Anthony. We'll put stuff out there one day, I promise.
We'll get there soon.
Yes. Thank you so much, guys, for attending. We really appreciate you taking the time tonight, and it was good seeing so many familiar faces.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.